Now back to Inside West Virginia Politics with Mark Curtis.
And welcome back to Inside West Virginia Politics this Sunday morning. We want to continue some of our discussion, at least, on the impeachment proceedings taking place in the House of Delegates. I'm joined this morning by Delegate Charlotte Lane. She's a Republican of Kanawha County, also a practicing attorney in her career, and so she's got the law degree to be on that Judiciary Committee. It's not necessary. Some of the members don't, but obviously you have a lot of legal insight into what we're doing. We are now into the second week of impeachment hearings. Give us some of your general impressions and concerns.
Overall, it looks as if the court didn't have any internal controls over what they were spending or their inventory, or if they did have internal controls, nobody was paying any attention to them. So after a few days of hearings, my impression is the court is just in disarray, and too much money's being spent on offices and things that have absolutely nothing to do with deciding cases. Too much free use of cars going every place with no accountability. Inventory that sort of moves in and out of the chambers into warehouses, and nobody actually knows where it goes or why it goes. And so I am just sort of appalled at, we have a state agency like the court that doesn't seem to have much accountability to the people. But the legislature...
You're going to get to the ballot initiative, aren't you,
yes,
in November?
The legislature passed, that's on the ballot this fall, the judicial amendment that will give the legislature control of the judicial budget. The judicial budget for the whole court system is about $140 million. And the legislature has had absolutely no control, no input into how that money is spent. And if the amendment passes this fall, which I think it will, then the legislature will have a lot more say-so as to what the budget is and where the money can be spent.
I mean, I think there's a lot of wide bipartisan support. I know voters are outraged. I mean, quite honestly, would we have had a $32,000 couch had the legislature had oversight over the court budget?
It's hard to tell, because right now the budget, their line item budget, or line item that spending can be do this and do that for offices and stuff like that, but a $32,000 sofa, nobody in their right mind would spend that much money for a sofa. And I think it is, not only is it poor judgment, but it shows contempt for West Virginians that you could spend $32,000 on a sofa. Lots of people in West Virginia don't even make $32,000 a
lot of people don't even have a house that's worth $32,000, let alone a couch.
Yes.
Let's talk about some other government spending. I've got to hold up this paper, and we'll get a close-up of it in a minute. But this is the headline from last Sunday's Gazette Mail here in Charleston, saying that members of the Department of Commerce spent $21,000 going on a junket, basically, up to the Stonewall Resort. And of course, what were they supposed to be working on? Flood relief. This was money that came out of the HUD flood relief money, $21,000 to go on a nice resort trip. Your thoughts?
So what we have so far is the federal government has given us $150 million to help flood victims. We have $48,000 of that money has maybe been spent on the flood victims. The rest of it has been spent on administrative expenses, money going to contractors, but the flood victims themselves have not gotten any relief. $21,000 for a meeting at Stonewall, when I have heard reports of people still living in houses that have raw sewage running across the floor.
Or they're living in tents out in their yard in Clendenin.
And you know, this is unacceptable, and it's unacceptable that we would be spending money at a state resort to learn how, I guess, to distribute this money when obviously it wasn't a very successful conference because no money has been distributed.
Yeah. Well, we're going to continue to follow that story as well as the impeachment proceedings which are going on in the House Judiciary Committee, of which you are a member. Delegate Charlotte Lane, Republican of Kanawha County. Thanks for being on the program today. We'll have you back again soon.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you for joining us. We're going to have another couple of segments of our Inside West Virginia Politics show, so don't go away.